Welcome to the Ask the Expert Show with local celebrity host Steve-O. Sit back each week while Steve-O educates you with live in-studio experts, such as lawyers, doctors, home improvement, and financial experts in their field. Call in and have your questions answered each week at 888-565-1470. Now, here is Steve-O with today's expert in their field.
Hey, it's 5 o'clock on Thursday afternoon. That means it's time for Ask the Experts. Today is my easy show. Easy. My guest today is, I'm just going to let him talk because last time we were here, I was just sitting back listening to him. This is an amazing doctor, and we got a lot of emails last week. This is Dr. Jonathan Berman, Berman Plastic Surgery and Spa here in Boca. Dr. Berman, I mean, we got like 10 emails. People say, oh, I heard the show, and he did my surgery.
That's neat.
You have a lot of people here, and they're all Jews, too.
Well, not all, but, look at the area we're practicing.
Anyway, we're here on 1470 AM, and you can also reach us on 95.3 FM if you have a question today for Dr. Berman, 888-565-1470, or you can call his office, easy number, 561-71-RADIO. You know what? We're getting all these new people listening to the show. Tell everybody again, how did you get started? Tell us about your practice. And I don't know how you do it yourself. I know you have support, but
We got a lot of support. We
Yes.
got great staff.
I don't want to take that away.
My office is at 670 Glades Road, Suite 240 in Boca Raton. We've been in practice. This is our 26th year of private practice. I do mostly cosmetic surgery in my practice. I trained in Louisville, Kentucky for my plastics training. And
Wow.
came to Florida because I'm an avid golfer, now road cyclist.
Yeah, I'm
Things are
jealous
good.
you're in such great shape. So you came here to start your practice?
I did.
And what made you go into plastic surgery?
Long story. I didn't think I was going to be
I bet
doing
you were a
plastic
surgeon
surgery.
too, weren't you?
I always wanted to do surgery, and truly, I started off in general surgery. And in medical school, I just didn't like the idea of doing 5 years of general surgery, then having to do a subspecialization for another 2 years. After all, went to high school for 4 years, college for 4 years, medical school for 4 years. There's a reason for it at the time because there's a lot of training that you need to be good at what you do. And I figured to do 5 years of general, then 2 years for something else, I said, that's help, So I started thinking what other specialties might be good where I would like. And I ventured into ear, nose, and throat surgery because I can do some surgery. I can do some office-based practice. I had children. I like taking care of children, and I can take care of older people too. And I can do as much office work and or as much surgery as I want. And patients who need big surgery up in the head and neck, I can do. So I thought it was a super field. And as I got through my plastics training, we ended up doing a lot of facial reconstruction with what we call free flaps, where there's a big hole in the tongue, jaw, and neck because of a cancer. You got to go someplace else to get like material to put it up in the jaw or in the mouth.
Was this a fellowship that you were doing?
No, this is part of our residency.
Wow.
And we called a plastic surgeon who, part of the microvascular training was to grab a piece of tissue with its own blood supply and rob Peter, let's just say in the lower leg, and actually in the abdomen or the hip, and bring it up into the head and neck, or maybe from the arm if they need a radial forearm. Anyway, make a long story short, we didn't have a plastic surgical residency where I trained, and me at the very bottom of the totem pole in the ENT residence, I was the man who sat with the plastic surgeon after doing the head and neck cancer case for choosing number 4 to 5 hours. Somebody's got to help the plastic surgeon to do what it is. And little Johnny Berman was the guy that, because I was the bottom of the totem pole, I was my thing. And finally, one of the plastic surgeons was really nice, like at 3 o'clock in the morning, which is typically where you learn a lot of your stuff as a resident. He says, how many of these free flaps have you seen? I said, I don't know, 20, 30. Let's see you put the artery together. So I put the artery together and worked pretty well. And then he says, that's pretty good. Let me see you do the vein. And I put the vein together, and he says,
And you're just doing
hands
your
work.
residency.
Yeah. And he says, your hands work. Did you ever think about doing plastic surgery? And I said to him, not really. I said, you need to come to my office, see what we do. because I know you know about the cosmetic stuff of noses and faces and breasts and tummy tucks, but there's a lot of stuff like this that you may like. And he says, okay. So I did office hours with him a couple times, and I decided that perhaps maybe this is something more for me because I like being creative. I almost became an architect in my training in undergraduate, and I applied to plastic surgical residencies, partly because when we went for our senior residence conference as ENT doctors, I brought all these plastic surgical applications, and in those days there were typewriters, and I had a little girl, and my wife was with me, and I told her that, I don't think I'm going to go through all this stuff. Maybe I'll just do an ENT facial plastics residency instead of a full plastic surgery residency. And she says, like hell you are. I just spent 30 hours typing up all your applications. You're going to plastic surgery.
So she forced you, made
So that's kind of, so I said, okay. So we went on interviews, and I got into a plastic surgical training program in Louisville, Kentucky. And Louisville is extremely well known for hand surgery and microvascular, which I had no idea.
Right.
And we did a lot of craniofacial because Kentucky's got a lot of people in backwoods type things, and there's a lot of, inbreeding and things like that. So we did a lot of craniofacial work, like Crouzons, and a lot of, head and craniofacial deformities, Apert syndromes, cleft lips, palate. So I said, you know what? This is a pretty cool place to train. I love living in Kentucky. Kentucky was great. And then when I got done with my training, I said, interesting enough, I said I didn't want to do 7 years. Well, guess what? I did 7 years, which was like, thank God my wife was great. She tolerated the whole thing.
But you never thought you were going to be a plastic surgeon.
I didn't think for a million years that's what I ended up doing. And now I do mostly cosmetic surgery.
There's a lot more plastic surgeons than ENT docs.
That's not true. No, that's not true. There are more ENT docs around than plastic surgeons.
There are?
Yep.
Because the ones I go to look at, it's like there's not a lot, maybe because they join big groups. Maybe
well, a lot of the ENT guys are in big groups with 4 to 5 people, 6 people, things like that. And plastic surgeons are kind of like great white sharks. They kind of go by themselves. There's 1 or 2 groups that have a bunch of people. But for the most part, most practicing plastic surgeons are by themselves, or maybe with one partner.
With this show, people are going to hear your communication skills are amazing. You make somebody feel relaxed. You don't talk over their head. And I think when someone, because isn't it a lot of women are nervous about any kind of plastic surgery?
Wouldn't you be?
I would definitely be.
So it's very normal and reasonable.
So when they come to see you, when they're first sitting down, you have a lot to overcome, don't you, before the surgery even starts?
People are, there's all different kinds of people. And I've certainly been doing this for a long enough time that, we kind of, the different personality types, different kind of people, and our best job is to try to make people relax and understand and try to educate them about what might be good for them and be realistic and reasonable about what we can provide. And to be honest. So my practice has basically been based upon the honesty and truthful and being as reasonable as I can to try to offer my patients my best care.
So what surgery do you mostly do? What is your signature surgery? Is it the breast, the tummy, the liposuction?
Well, interestingly enough, I probably do more breast augmentation than anything else.
Okay.
I like doing breast augmentation. I really like to do rhinoplasty. I think rhinoplasty is one of the hardest operations we can do. And to do it well is a real challenge. So I like those operations a lot. I do like doing facelifts. I do a bunch of those, obviously, because of my head and neck background and ENT background. And, fortunately, I never really I never wanted to develop, I am the doc for just one operation. I kind of like doing every one of my surgeries. So it's kind of nice. It keeps me focused on learning a lot and doing a lot. I mean, I've gone to my major meetings, at least one a year, and I watch the experts get up, my experts in my specialty talk about their procedures and showing their before and after pictures. And it's kind of fun. I've been doing this a long time. I've been in practice like 26 years. It's kind of nice when they show their best tummy tucks and I see my best tummy tucks and look pretty darn good, right? And they show their breast augmentations and my breast augmentations look pretty good, and they show their noses and my noses look pretty good. So I'm not saying that I have the experience or the wealth of information that my
26 years
mentors
is a long
are.
time, though.
So I don't want people to walk away here and say, he thinks he's great at everything. No. I think I do a nice job for the surgeries I do, but when I go to my meetings, the guy is talking to me, that's all he does is facelifts. So maybe he's doing 300 a year for 20 years, right? I'm not doing 200, 300 facelifts a year. I may be doing maybe 400 procedures across the board. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, right.
So I think I believe I do a good job of what I'm doing. I think that I've always have things to learn and try to make my surgeries better. For example, best example is my rhinoplasty surgeries, my facelift surgeries. I started off doing them one way. I don't do them the same way as I started 26 years ago. I think my results are better today. In fact, it's interesting. I saw a man today in my office who I saw 5 years ago.
I was going to ask you how much of your practice is
5 years
men.
ago. A man who came in 5 years ago and he wanted some surgery. And he chose not to do it at that time, so he comes back. And I said to him, and he asked me, so what do you think?
After 5 years?
After 5 years, he comes back and he said to me, well, what do you think? And I said, well, I can tell you I do this operation better today than I did 5 years ago. And he said, how come? I says, well, one, I've done more. I've also learned what not to do on this procedure. And the reason why I believe we call this a practice of medicine is because I do think if you're paying attention to the work that you do and you look over what your results are and you analyze how you've done things, look over your goods and your bads, because not everybody hits a grand slam home run, okay? And the reality is, how do you do a better job for the next person you're coming in? How can you do a little bit better this? How can you maybe take a little less time without rushing on the OR? Because I still have the belief that you take only as much time as you need under general anesthesia than to do the work. And I'm always trying to be a little bit more economic with my time because the patient's asleep. And I do think a shorter operating room time is better than a long operating room time. But having said that, I don't mean to operate fast to put the patient in harm's way. I just think, for example, I sew up faster now than I did 5 years ago, just because the nature of repetition. I do know my sutures that I drop or I place are better than I did 5 years ago. And I hope they're better because I've done more of them, right? If they're not getting better and I'm analyzing what I'm doing, it's a little bit of a problem. So I do think there's something to be said for experience in my specialty. And, to do something well, I do think you need to do it repetitively, comfortably, so you're better at what you do than the time before. And one of the operations which I dreaded the most when I started was an augmentation and a breast lift, because they kind of contradict each other. The augmentation or breast enlargement makes the breast bigger, and the breast lift, you're taking extra skin to make it tighter. So the forces kind of fight each other, right?
Right.
And I never philosophically liked the idea to do them together because I felt having a happy balance is a hard thing to do. And I do know the revision rate from that procedure was close to 50%, meaning you have to go back and do some touch-ups or something. I can now, with much better confidence, say I do them mostly in one operation. I'm happy to see the results that I'm getting with this operation. I don't dread it as much as I used to. I still respect the operation a lot because, after all, we're dealing with a very, very important part of a woman's body. And you certainly want to do this as safely and nicely, and you want to give them as pretty a look as you can do. And like I had a woman, believe it or not, who was...
Where do you perform your surgeries?
Most of my stuff I do in my office.
Okay.
I mean, you're going to chuckle at this, but I think it's pretty cute. I had a 67-year-old lady who decided she wanted a breast lift and an augmentation.
That's what I would have guessed.
And I said, you kind of look at her, and it's like, okay, she's healthy. No drugs. I mean drugs. She's not on any medication. She had no problems with her blood pressure. She's a happy lady, very reasonable. And she says, you know what? These saggy bags, I want them up and perky on my chest. And I'm going to have them
67 years old.
And she comes in with her daughter. And her daughter says, I don't know. This is my mom's money. She wants to do it. I've been talking her out of it. And I said, listen. And they said, what do I think? Well, I'll tell you what. It's unusual to have a 67-year-old woman come in to want to have this operation, okay? But the reality is, if it's going to make you feel better about yourself, and I can do it safely, nicely, why not? And as long as she's medically stable and it's reasonable. So you're going to love this. So I figure out a size that would be good for her. And on the pre-op, she comes like, "Can you make me bigger?"
No way.
Yep. And I said to her, "Listen, it's one thing to get
This is pre-op.
This is pre-op, right? About a week before surgery, and I have already picked the sizes out for her for what I think is going to work for her breast. And girl, this is probably. I hope this doesn't come across as being chauvinist because we're both men talking about
Right.
this, but I'm not trying to. But I totally get women when they want certain things because I've been listening to ladies for the last 26 years, wants and note wants for what they want. And I said to her, I think it's great to be there, but I don't think it's a good balance for you. And I showed her what the implant looked like that I was putting in to the implant that she thought she wanted to put in. And I said, what do you think? Just put it on your, fill your bra up. I'll walk away for 15 minutes, put some clothes on and see if you like. And then she looked at me and says, "You're right, but can we go halfway?" I said, "That's a good compromise. I'll make a deal with you. When we're in the OR, I'll make sure I have that implant size. And if I can put that in safely, correctly, and not compromising the work, sure." So I have the implants that I think I'm going to put in. I have the one that she wants. And I did try to, to put a sizer in to do it, and it wouldn't work.
Okay.
And my judgment was right. So I did what I wanted. And then when we're waking, when she wakes up, she says, "I want you to know my breasts look spectacular." And I don't know what size you put in, but it looks like they're great. And I said, so finally she asked me, "So what size you put in?" I said, "Would you be upset if I put the size in that I told you?" She says, "Oh, am I glad? Because these are plenty beautiful."
Wow.
I don't know if I could have handled
You've
it much
done this
bigger.
so many times.
Yeah, but each time, everybody's a little bit different.
67 years old, a little different.
It's different, and I have different people for different things, and I try to, listen, it's nice a guy comes in from 5 years ago, now decided that he wants to do it, and we're doing it.
We're going to go to break. We come back. There's two things I want to make sure we talk about. We're in Florida. Weight loss. We're here. Bathing suit time. And I also want to talk about some of the men's procedures you do.
Sure.
So we're going to go to break. We're here with Dr. Jonathan Berman. His phone number at his office is 561-71-RADIO. We'll be right back.
The Ask the Expert show has chosen one of Palm Beach County's top board-certified plastic surgeons, Dr. Jonathan Berman, for the Plastic Surgery Show, which airs the last Thursday of each month from 5 to 6 p.m. Dr. Berman is a Boca Raton plastic surgeon who has been certified by both the American Board of Plastic Surgeons and the American Board of Otolaryngology Head and Neck Surgery. Dr. Berman has 25 years of practice experience specializing in breast augmentation, rhinoplasty, facelifts, liposuction, and many other types of cosmetic plastic surgery. As soon as you walk into Berman Plastic Surgery and Spa, you are made to feel comfortable, as his staff knows this is a big step for you to achieve your plastic surgery goals. They are attentive to your needs, your questions, your concerns, and giving you the quality time you deserve. Ask about Dr. Berman's specials for Botox, the full line of Juvederm products, Juvederm, Voluma, Volbella, Volure, and Kybella. Also, hydrofacials are half price at $99 by appointment only. Call today to set up your free consultation at 561-717-2346, 561-71-RADIO. See why so many of Dr. Berman's patients recommend Dr. Berman to their friends and relatives. Go to Dr. Berman's website for more information, www.drberman.com.
Hey, we're back. We're here with Dr. Jonathan Berman. He is a plastic surgeon, a well-known plastic surgeon. We knew from last month when he was on, the emails we got, even a doctor who, her name is Dr. Silverman, we'll give her a little plug, who you did her surgery. She said, "I love Dr. Berman." Means you must have done something right. But, I was just telling you that they have Yelp. People go to Yelp to try to find, it could be a doctor, a lawyer, whatever. And there's always some bad and there's some good on there. But, the people who've been calling here or emailing us, not one negative thing. That's like never heard of anymore.
I'm sure I have people that don't love me.
Well, they didn't come out.
And it's nice that we have nice reviews. Look,
Yes.
we work hard for it. But, you can't make everybody happy all the time. And you try to be as fair and as honest as you can. And unfortunately, not everybody feels the same way as you do. And there are unhappy people out there.
Okay.
And you just try to
What do you
do the best you can.
if somebody's unhappy?
you do the best you can to make them happy.
Do you put them back, take them back to surgery?
Depends what the problem is.
Oh.
It depends what the issues are, and not everything can be remedied by a scalpel either. There's 9 inches between the ears, okay? And it depends upon the person, depends upon the situation. I do know that if we do a procedure and things aren't going as well as we can, as the patient wants it, we do everything in our power to try to help them through what it. Look, nobody is perfect, and there's always complications for everything that we do surgically. And anybody who's getting everything right every time, he's not or she's not doing enough surgery, because it's just not something that's a reasonable thing to happen. You do enough, you're going to have a complication here and there, and there's different amounts and how big or bad a complication is. It's the cost of doing business. It's reality. We all would like to be able to do everything correctly and get 100 on every test we take. We can't do it.
Nope.
And the reality is, you try to explain to the patients you're going to do the best you can, at the procedure. But there are people, look, I've done surgery, and a month after surgery, people develop some problems not related to the surgery. Maybe there's something that they did accidentally to themselves, not intentionally, and it created a problem. But then we step in and we try to help them and get them back to the best we can do. Things like that. And there's only so much we can do, but I do believe, like, if you enter my office and you come to us as a patient, we kind of feel like you've entered our family, and we try to take care of you as best as we know how. Do I have all the answers every day? No. But I do know that I have a lot of the answers, and I know that if I don't know your answer, I'm going to go seek it out.
You've seen a lot in 26 years.
I believe so.
So I'm going to put you on the spot, because this kind of leads up to my next question. I see these ads in the paper now. Go to another country, breast augmentation. I know that if there was a complication, I want to be where my doctor is, not in some other country. Can you tell people, is that good or bad? And just
when I first
honest.
started in practice, there were people that were going to places outside the United States for care. And they would get this care for half the price that what would charge for here. And the dollar bill or the peso or whatever it is important to whatever people's values are. I know even locally there are organizations that if I choose a number, $5,000 for something, there's an organization or several organizations that will charge $2,000 to $2,200.
Okay.
And the reality is the person, whomever's done any shopping, should know there's a little Roman phrase like caveat emptor, let the buyer beware. Now, there's got to be a reason that if somebody's charging $2,200 for an operation that I'm doing for $5,000, and I'm a board-certified plastic surgeon, and if you went to choose a number of 2 or 3 other plastic surgeons in my community, and let's just say we're all probably within 10% of the fee for each other, what does that tell you? You go to somebody else and they're getting it for $2,000 to $2,500. You would think that would raise hairs in the back of somebody's head, that maybe you want to stay away from something like that, right?
Yeah.
You think, but you know what? It doesn't happen all the time.
But Dr. Bourbon, this is not like buying a pair of jeans or this is, your face or your breast or. But people still.
You're right, but people have to do what they feel is best for them, and I can preach and tell people that that's a bad thing, but I think they probably know that it's not something. If they had the money, they wouldn't go elsewhere. They would do it locally. But I'm fortunate. There are a lot of people that are not as fortunate as me, and therefore, in terms of being fortunate, and they're also not as well educated as I am, so they don't look at the problem the same way as I do. Listen, I had a woman come into the office the other day who weighed 240 pounds, and she was all of 5'2". She wanted liposuction. Now, realistically, there's nothing I'm going to do liposuction that's going to help her.
Why is that?
Because pretty much the amount of liposuction you're going to be able to help a person with is maybe. We only will take off in my office 5,000 cc's,
okay.
5,000 grams. 1,000 grams is 2.2 pounds, okay? Well, you do the math. 5 times 2.2 is like 11 pounds. That's all I will take out in the OR.
So you wouldn't even be able to tell anything?
Well, if I'm the max, if I take off that much, don't forget there's some blood, there's some fluid, whatever. So I tell people if that's the max I'm going to take out, perhaps you're going to see a 7.5 to 8 pound change.
Wow.
Now, if you weigh 200 pounds, 240 pounds, choose a number, and you're 5 foot tall, and you take off 8 pounds just around the midsection and your flanks, are you really going to see that much? Probably not, right? What are you going to lose? Maybe a quarter of an inch?
Different?
Probably not.
Wow.
So my answer to that one is I'd rather tell them, listen, I'd love to help you, but you're not a good candidate for the surgery, okay? And if you're not a good candidate for the surgery, I can't help you. If there are things you want me to help you with, I can give you some idea. Perhaps maybe you need to work on your nutrition a little bit, learn the 4 food groups, what you should eat and what you shouldn't eat. So none of these
belts that you hear about, the surgery, none of that stuff is going to help them at all.
The belts?
There's the band surgery. I hear.
That's a different issue. That I'm not going to preach very much knowledge about because there's gastric bypasses.
Okay.
And the bands you're talking about, the gastric bands they put around,
That tells me that you don't like that.
No, I didn't say I don't like it at all. I said I'm going to go on the record and says I don't know very much about the surgeries. I learned about them. I don't do the Roux-en-Y procedure, which is the big gastric bypass. I don't put the rings around the gastric, and then, those are surgeries that I don't know. I know they'll help people who are big that want to get smaller. I've certainly taken care of people that have done the weight reduction that they now want to have the excess skin removed from their bodies and things like that. That I'm comfortable doing. But to tell them how to lose the weight and how to do those weight reduction type operations, the lap bands, that's the word.
Lap band.
I forgot, yeah. I have a concept of what it is. I don't do the surgery. There are certainly a bunch of very, very capable, sound people out there that do that with wonderful results and things like that. That's maybe what this lady needed more than anything else.
But you're going to tell the patient not what they necessarily want to hear. You're going to be honest with them up front.
Yeah, because it doesn't do me any good to pad my wallet with whatever the cost of that operation for that lady, and after surgery says you didn't do anything.
Right.
And I can show her pictures of people who were pretty overweight that I told them that we can take some of the fat away, but you're eventually going to need a skin operation to take the extra skin away. So I have results to show that kind of stuff. And I just feel that it's important to be realistic. Look, I think I can make an honest living doing the things the way I'm doing it, which is the way I've been doing it for 26 years. I may have to be the richest plastic surgeon on the block, but I can tell you I'm pretty darn honest, and I sleep pretty well because I don't want to put anybody in harm's way. And if there's something I've done that is, not intention to hurt somebody because of, for whatever my surgery, I'll do everything I can to try to make them better. That kind of stuff.
So you just brought up, we were talking about weight loss. How many different procedures do you do now that have to do with weight loss?
Well,
is it just liposuction only?
Well, it's a good question. The answer is typically if you've lost weight, that means you have hanging skin.
Right.
So wherever there's hanging skin, theoretically you can do something cosmetic to make it better. Whether it be in your face with a hanging, the little turkey gobbler, right. Okay? Ladies, they don't like the little, their bat wings, they call them, as Oprah calls them, things
right.
like that. Their breast may be totally deflated, right? The abdomen, all that extra pannus of skin that's hanging down. There are procedures to do the medial thighs, to do medial thigh lifts, for example. Total body lifts where you pull the excess skin on the legs up. There's theoretically, wherever there's skin, we can do surgery to make it better. Now, of all those procedures, I don't do all of them. I don't like the brachioplasty operation because I don't like getting somebody a scar that goes the whole way length of the arm.
That's what you would see the scar then.
You would. That's why I don't think that's a great operation. Because then if I've done it, then somebody's going to say, look what you did. And I will do an operation. I feel that the operation, the risks, the benefits outweigh the risks of the surgery. Okay. And I think although the benefits certainly outweigh the risk because you're having this and complications with the arm, I just don't like doing the surgery. And I know you have a line here. Okay. Now you can say, well, you make a line when you do a facelift. True. But the facelift is often camouflaged.
Right.
And they're not as visible. Okay. Things like that. A medial thigh lift, a similar operation where you make a cut in the medial aspect of the leg to pull that extra skin. I find that a very, very challenging operation. I haven't done very many of them. And I think the learning curve is probably pretty steep, so it's not something I've wanted to undertake to do that kind of thing.
Okay.
So a lot of the surgeries you do is a lot has to do in the preferences of what you're comfortable doing and that you want to do. And I guess those two operations are things that I'll do liposuction in those areas because I can make those look better. I can make the skin a little bit tighter with radio frequency, something called Thermi, which is a nice adjunct now that we brought into the practice in January.
Right?
Yeah, we brought in the practice in January. It's got some pluses and minuses, and there's a learning curve on that, like everything else that we do. But in terms of weight reduction, those are the kind of things that I do. I don't get involved with, like I said before, the gastric bypass procedure, the lap bands. They now have a new thing, which is a great concept. You eat this little sphere, you swallow the sphere, and then when you swallow the sphere, there's this device that will blow this little ball up in your stomach that will make your stomach feel bloated. So the signals go back to your brain that you're full and you don't eat. And then after doing this for X number of time, you do crazy. I think you go back into the hospital, you do it ass up, you get a GI doctor, comes and takes the little ball out. So it's like, what a great concept. But it's like, I know people are doing it, but it's like, I don't think I'm going to be doing that. So I think that's a really cool concept because, doing surgery to like reroute your bowels so that you don't absorb as well, so that you will lose weight. Okay, I get it if you're super, listen, I've been lucky. I said it before. I haven't had to meet these challenges in life, But for people that have had to meet these challenges in life, everybody rises to the challenges differently. I'm amazed and I'm flattered and I'm overwhelmed by people that have lost 80 to 150 pounds. How do you do that? That's a person. Now, you can argue, well, they should never got that big to the first place, right? But, okay, but, I weigh 100 and... My wife will lie. She'll think I'm lying when I say this. But I like to say I weigh about 190, plus or minus 5 pounds, okay?
He's 6'8".
Well, I'm a little twerpy guy at 5'7", right?
Okay.
But
you look like you're in great shape.
Well, I cycle and I try, whatever. But to think about somebody losing 150 pounds,
it's a lot.
My petite wife weighs 100 pounds. That's 1.5 Barbaras. And it's like, that's a lot of weight.
That is a lot of weight.
And that's fat. That's not muscle. That's not bone. That's not skull. That's fat. Now, if you lose all that weight, your skin's going to retract to a certain amount, but you're not going to retract. I have a guy who I know who's working hard. He's doing it the hard way by losing weight. He's lost over 220 pounds.
So now, just from diet and working out.
God bless. But he knows it's over a year he's been doing this. He knows he's got, choose a number, he's got another year to do this. God bless him. He'll get down, and how much healthier could it be for your body, for your heart not to have to push blood to all that tissue and all those microcapillaries around. God bless those people.
Wow.
That's a hard thing to do.
Well, let's go to break. We're here with Dr. Jonathan Berman. His phone number at his office, and I want to talk about this when we come back. His phone number is 561-71-RADIO. And if you'd like to watch the show, you can even go back and watch the show. Go to www.doctor, that's Dr. Berman, BERMAN.com. You can actually rewatch the show tonight. We're going to go to break. We'll be right back.
Have you ever wished you could turn back the hands of time, lose those lines and wrinkles, and enjoy the healthy, flawless skin you had during your younger years? Ever wanted to rid yourself from hair under your arms, on your legs, or around your bikini area? For men, the hair on your backs. Well, now you can. At Berman Plastic Surgery and Spa, Dr. Berman can provide you the best non-invasive skincare procedures and rejuvenation products to restore your youthful skin appearance and enhance your self-image. They have an unparalleled FDA-approved technology suite that includes intense pulse light IPL, laser hair removal, laser scar treatments, laser skin tightening, and laser stretch mark removal. Fractionated CO2 lasers can be added to any treatment plan to give you the skin you've always wanted. Dr. Berman invites you to call and make an appointment for a free skin consultation at 561-717-2346, 561-71-RADIO. See why so many of Dr. Berman's patients recommend Dr. Berman to their friends and relatives. Go to Dr. Berman's website for more information, www.drberman.com.
We're back here. We're here with Dr. Jonathan Berman. He is a plastic surgeon Board certified. Big difference. Board certified, right? His office is here in Boca Raton. His phone number is 561-71-RADIO, or you can go to his website at www.drberman.com. How much of your business, your practice, is male?
About 10%.
Why so small? Guys are more vain or something, or
Well,
why? I mean,
I don't know. I mean, I certainly can tell you that when I first started 26 years ago,
right?
they said it'd be like 10%, right?
They did.
Yeah. And it hasn't changed a whole lot in all these years. It really hasn't.
And when the men come to you, what are they usually coming to you for?
Okay. Some people want Botox. Not many, but some men want Botox. Some men will want fillers to get rid of relax some of the
Right.
lines here in the face. Okay. There is something called Kybella out there, which is an injection to kind of, chemically remove some of the fat underneath your chin.
Okay.
So those are quick little fixes, which that's typically what a man will come to see me for. Occasionally, there's a man that comes in that wants some skincare for their face, so we send him to my esthetician to help him for that. So
What
those are
about
the non-invasive.
liposuction?
Okay, those are the non-invasive
Okay.
things. Okay, so now, what can I do? What do men usually come for? Okay, so I told you. So a man today who wanted liposuction, and typically the male areas where we put fat on are the chest, the abdomen, and the flanks. Okay, and a little bit of the neck. So those are the 4 areas that I'm liposuctioning for the man. So that's one operation. I have another man who came in today, interestingly enough, I'm doing a facelift on.
Okay.
Years ago, I did surgery on this man because...
How old is this man
Which one?
that you're going to do a facelift
Oh, both
on?
of them today were 61 years old.
Okay.
Okay? Oh, excuse me. The facelift, he's 58.
Okay.
The other man for the...
So he's
for
probably
life
got
was
some
61.
lines coming, starting.
Okay. Another guy, so there's a facelift. I am doing some laser resurfacing under his eyes because he has a little extra skin there, and I didn't think he was a good I don't think a surgery procedure where cutting and like what we call blepharoplasty was indicated for his lower lids. And one of his eyebrows is a little bit lower than the other, so I'm gonna do a hemi brow lift to get them to be equal. So that's kind of where we're at with that. So male surgery, eyelids, for example, upper and lower eyelids. Those are surgeries that men do, facelifts, eyelids. I'm doing a male rhinoplasty on Monday. Interesting, right? We're talking about men. And it's like my next 5 people I've operated on are men, which is very interesting, right? So rhinoplasty, occasionally men will come in because they've got breasts that are not going away from the
Yes.
liposuction. So there's a procedure that condition's called gynecomastia.
Right.
Interesting enough, the insurance companies don't pay for it.
I was just going to ask you, do insurance companies cover anything?
Not usually,
Okay.
cosmetically, that is, right? So most of this is coming out of pocket for people. But that's typically, and tummy tucks.
Okay.
I have another man who we did a tummy tuck on.
What's the difference in a tummy tuck and actually having just liposuction?
Liposuction, basically just taking the fat away.
Okay.
Okay, you're putting a cannula in that kind of looks like a darning needle for knitting. It's got holes at the end attached to a vacuum cleaner, and you're just sucking fat away.
Okay.
A tummy tuck's different. You're basically making a cut like an extended C-section incision. You're making a circle around the umbilicus. You're then peeling all the skin away.
Right.
Then the better part of the operation is you're tightening abdominal muscles to get the roundness of the belly. We're making a pleat and making it flatter. Then you're pulling the skin flap down and cutting the excess skin away. So a tummy tuck,
Going to get rid of that gut then.
you'll tighten the guts like you're getting a new corset around your abdomen. Okay, so there's your internal corset, and you're cutting away a lot of your skin. Now, that's an operation which we were talking before about weight reduction and people lost a lot of weight. We did this operation about 2 months ago for a man that probably lost about 80, 90 pounds. And now he's got this big panis which is hanging down here.
Right.
And it's irritating, and he wanted to look better. So he kind of needs a circumferential because he's got, lateral flanks that we probably need to do something for. But that's an operation which, you can do a circumferential surgery. I don't do that in one stage. I find a lot of the men are happy when I just do the front. If they have a little bit on the tail, they're okay. That means we have to go back another day to take care of the tails. So
I would
those
think
are-
the stomach is the most important. That's what shows. That's right in front.
True, but if you're putting a bathing suit on and you have your little, muffin tops coming over the side, you're not thrilled with that either. So it's kind of a circle.
Okay.
You know?
So we had one of the emails we did get is about ears, and I think it was from a male about the lobes being too long.
Okay.
Do you work on that?
Yeah, there's a man.
From the guy, ear, nose, and throat guy?
Well, no. Truly, there's another operation we do called an otoplasty, where if you have Dumbo ears and you don't like them, like our ex-president Obama, his ears were really big.
Yes.
Right? Well, he's comfortable. He wears his hair short. It kind of sticks out more, right?
Right.
But theoretically, if you had it a little bit longer, it wouldn't be as noticeable, okay? But you and I both wear hair really short, so
Yes.
you got to hope your ears are okay, right?
Right.
Theoretically, or you're very comfortable who you are, right? But people don't like it when their ears are way out here and cupped, and a lot of times they'll do surgery to kind of bring them back. That's the whole ear. Now, you asked for something about their lobules
Yeah, it's like
being
when
too
you
long.
get older, it seems like maybe they start coming down further.
Well, gravity affects everything,
Sure.
right? Makes your nose fall.
Yes.
Makes your third leg go down, everything go down, right?
Yes.
Okay, so that's kind of normal. And I just saw a guy the other day that was unhappy because his earlobes were too long. So we're doing a surgery to make it, to trim his earlobes a little bit.
So that can be done.
I told you, anywhere there's skin, within reason, we can do, that's the niceness about what I do for a living, the plasticity. That's what plastic surgery is coming from.
Is laser hair removal still big?
It is. The people that don't like their hair on their body can do laser hair removal. It's a nice thing to do. A lot of it has to determine about the color of the hair. If you have black hair, it's easier than if you have white hair. Okay? And one treatment isn't going to do it. You need several. And you oftentimes have to go back once a year to make sure that you get more of that stuff taken care of.
Is it painful?
Is it painful? It's uncomfortable because every time you get hit with the laser, you feel tap, 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 tap. It's not the most comfortable operation you do, but it's uncomfortable.
I'm going to tell you something. For you guys out there who shaved your head like I did, there is a place that it is horrible. The razor doesn't really get, and it's right here along the ear line. And it looks bad. And now, so would laser hair removal work back there if the hair is still dark? Because I understand that if the hair is light in color.
It's a great question. I don't think I've ever had anybody have laser
the
hair removal
worst.
there. But the truth be told, the physics are the same, whether it's in your scalp or in your arm, okay? You will have a different kind of success around that area than you would on the arm because of the density of the hair. But I don't see any reason why, if you're doing it safely, correctly, could you not have some of that hair removed, okay?
Okay. So we're going to go to our last break, and my sister, whose husband is the head internist at Baylor Hospital in Dallas, big hospital, she doesn't want to ask any of her friends, and she's got a question. She just had a baby, so you know what I'm going to ask you. She's sitting here listening to the show right now. When we come back, we're going to talk about mommy makeovers.
Sure.
We'll be back.
Have you ever wished you could turn back the hands of time, lose those lines and wrinkles, and enjoy the healthy, flawless skin you had during your younger years? Ever wanted to rid yourself from hair under your arms, on your legs, or around your bikini area? For men, the hair on your backs. Well, now you can. At Berman Plastic Surgery and Spa, Dr. Berman can provide you the best non-invasive skincare procedures and rejuvenation products to restore your youthful skin appearance and enhance your self-image. They have an unparalleled FDA-approved technology suite that includes intense pulsed light IPL, laser hair removal, laser scar treatments, laser skin tightening, and laser stretch mark removal. Fractionated CO2 lasers can be added to any treatment plan to give you the skin you've always wanted. Dr. Berman invites you to call and make an appointment for a free skin consultation at 561-717-2346, 561-71-RADIO. See why so many of Dr. Berman's patients recommend Dr. Berman to their friends and relatives. Go to Dr. Berman's website for more information, www.drberman.com.
Reality or not.
We are back. I'm here with Dr. Berman. He is probably one of the biggest plastic surgeons I know for sure, at least in Delray, Boca, Boynton area. Let me give you his phone number. His number is 561-71-RADIO. And I got a friend of mine who's in Los Angeles. Wow, the plastic surgeon Mecca. She has gone to 9 plastic surgeons. And I went, why so many? She said, this is important. She's having a breast reduction. So this is important. I want to make sure that I get along with the doctor, that I feel comfortable with him. So this is really important. She's not looking at price. She's looking at who she feels, I guess, makes her feel a lot easier. But she's gone to a lot of doctors. So the point I'm trying to make is we have one of the finest plastic surgeons right here. You don't have to Google for anybody. His name is Dr. Berman. And we got so many compliments from last month when he was on from ex-patients. And one of them's a doctor. I think she's a psychologist. I think Dr. Silverman's a psychologist or a psychiatrist. But anyway, I wanted to talk about my sister's watching right now. She just had a baby. She doesn't want anybody knowing about this, so she can't ask any of her doctor friends. Explain about the mommy makeover.
Mommy makeover is a nice term, and basically it sounds like what it is. Mommy's
But these are two
gone through
different
surgery.
surgeries, right?
Well, there's different kinds of mommy makeovers.
Okay.
Basic mommy makeover, my understanding is, okay, you've had your baby.
Sure, it's got to be what it is.
You've had your baby.
Yeah.
There's certain things the baby has done to your body.
Right.
Or, there are things that you want to do post baby birth that you look in the mirror, you don't like what you see. Typically, a woman who has a baby, they gain a little more weight because of the baby, and sometimes they have a difficult time getting it all off. Okay? Let's just say they get it all off. Some of these ladies have stretch marks.
Okay.
Some of these ladies have big hanging bellies. They've breastfed, so maybe their breast has been stretched out more than they like. Those are, body things that perhaps some of these ladies want to get better
Varicose veins?
Sometimes they get varicose veins, sure.
Okay.
Right. We don't take care of those, but that's certainly one of the things because of the extra weight they
And I
should
just want
carry.
to ask, so I don't forget, when they have a C-section,
Right.
is there anything you can do with that scar?
Well, a lot of C-sections heal magnificently well.
Okay.
And so there's no reason to do anything for
Okay.
them. And some look terrible. And some of them, how much is the healing of the patient? How much is the quality and the, should I say, the time, efforts, and energies of the OBGYN doctor to close them? There's a lot of variables I can't answer because
But it's kind of right there at the line.
Some of the
swimsuit
girls I've seen, they have amazing C-section scars, and some look awful.
line. Okay.
And, what we also don't know is,
Can you do anything with the ones that look awful?
yeah, usually can do a scar revision if they
Okay.
want. Yeah, they just cut the scar out and re-close it. And their anatomy may be such that they may close poorly and have a bad scar again. But you never know, So typically those scars heal phenomenally well because the skin has been stretched. And when you're closing, there's almost no tension on the skin. And therefore it should, heal up beautifully, But sometimes it doesn't. So in terms of mommy makeover, typically what's a woman have? She has stretch marks. Maybe her belly's kind of stretched out and the muscles are not so wonderful. So maybe she's got all this extra skin that perhaps maybe she's, she feels that she's got some weight changes that she's not happy with. Choosing number 5 to 6 pounds, she's a little bit, that she's worked really hard trying to work out, diet and exercise.
Is it more than one procedure?
It depends what you want to do.
Okay.
I was going to just give an example. Maybe you want to have some liposuction, okay? And perhaps the ideal candidate for liposuction is the person who has who's got fatty areas that are refractory to diet and exercise. So you take a young healthy woman who's got a baby. She's now choosing number 1.5 to 2 years after the baby's born, and she's back in her own routine, doing her own stuff, working out like a fiend, eating like a champ. And she looks at herself and says, I hate my lateral thighs. I hate my muffin tops. What can you do about them? And you examine her, and maybe she's got some extra fat there that this is where the body puts the fat. So liposuction might be a great option for her. Got another girl, she's 5 years, 7 years later after breastfeeding. She's decided, look in the mirror, my breasts look awful. These babies suck the hell out of these things. They're saggy. I want to be, upright, sexy, and pretty, maybe bigger. So maybe a breast lift and an augmentation the gal may want. Those kind of things. or their stomach's been so stretched out that the muscles, have been stretched. So maybe she needs a tummy tuck, things like that. And, that gives you some idea of, the mommy makeover things is mostly corresponding, I believe, in my head, thinking about things that affected the torso, meaning the breasts, the abdomen, the flanks, and probably the legs, the medial thighs or upper thighs, and maybe the knees, the liposuction areas. Those are kind of
so
the
it's
areas.
really a personal thing.
Oh, sure.
Okay, because I know that's a surgery that a lot of women would like to have, especially after having a baby. Tell me, I'm going to put you on the spot again. I'm thinking about, not me, but I'm listening to the show and I'm thinking about breast augmentation, maybe rhinoplasty. Why should I come to you?
Why not?
Okay, don't be a...
You asked, you're glib,
okay.
right? I'll give you an answer.
Tell me.
Why should you?
Don't tell me. Tell them.
I've been in practice 26 years. I've had experience. I've got expertise in the things that I do. I'm going to give you a very fair shake about what you're looking for and what I can try to do to make it better. I think my hands work. My skill sets are good. And we can certainly show you pictures of people that we've done surgeries on, so you get some idea of what theoretically, quote unquote, my talent is, my befores and afters. You can talk to my staff. I think you'll find my staff is extremely helpful,
important too.
knowledgeable. We're a really good team. And there are a lot of things that I'm thrilled that they can do that I can't do because I can't do everything. I mean, my scrub tech is amazing. My patient care coordinator is terrific. They're right on top of things. So the whole organization isn't just me. It's a whole team effort working together to try to be able to deliver a real quality product.
And you always operate at your office?
No, we operate in the hospital if the patient wants or if the patient has some medical issues, which I think I need to take care of.
What hospitals do you work out of?
Or if I need to do it, I do things in an outpatient surgery center. So like Monday, I'm doing surgery at the Boca Raton Outpatient Laser Center for septorhinoplasty, for example. I did surgery at Boca Regional today when we did some breast surgery for a woman. Okay, so
why there instead of the office?
There's certain things the hospitals offer that I can't offer in my office. I want to do things that are safe.
But it's outpatient, though.
Yeah, this was outpatient. I guess I could have done this today in the office, but one of the things were it's also logistics for me to get an anesthesiologist at the last minute to come to my office and do something. He's got his own schedule, does his own stuff, and then I also have to get an RN when we do our surgeries. And last minute is difficult. That's why we like to do all our stuff with at least a 2 weeks prep to make sure that we can get our anesthesiologist that has his own schedule that he can be there with us, as well as our circulating nurse, plastic surgical nurse, to be available to do those things.
And a potential patient should not smoke, right?
I was taught that people should be off cigarettes for a good month before their surgery. Okay?
A lot of people don't know that.
My 67-year-old that I told you we did our breast aug,
she smokes.
I just asked her to please stop smoking 2 weeks before surgery. You also have to be realistic, right?
But there's a reason behind it.
Sure, it causes the blood vessels to narrow, and you have a possibility that your blood supply is going to be compromised to areas where you're going to be working on. So why put yourself in harm's way if you can help it? But, getting somebody to break a habit they've been doing for 30 years, 40 years is really hard. So, if I can get somebody to cut back at least half of what they're doing, that's a good thing. But I'm not going to lie, when I have patients who are smokers, I do my surgery a little bit differently.
Can you tell that they're smokers?
Yes.
Okay.
I can.
So
not everybody, but a lot. Okay.
So it must be pretty important when you tell them that they really shouldn't smoke 2 weeks before surgery.
Yeah, I mean, look, working on a woman's breast is as important, as working a person's face, because you don't want you don't want your flaps to be vascularly compromised, right? So it's better if you don't smoke than if you do smoke.
Okay. Because I know there's
I said it right. You're better if you don't smoke. Yes, than do smoke. Right.
Here we are in the sun, and I'll be down at Meisner, and I'll see all these women smoking. And it's like, I can't believe we're like in one of the healthiest places in the country, and you see all these women smoking.
It's a stress reliever for sure,
Tell everybody where your office is.
My practice is in Boca Raton. My office is at 670 Glades Road, Suite 240. It's 2 blocks from Boca Raton Regional Hospital. It's in the beautiful new building, the Sandler Medical Pavilion. That's renamed. I mean, the building's been there since I've been there, whatever, 2002, 2003. But different benefactors, right, have their different names across the top. So I think it's called the Sandler Medical Pavilion right now. It's a beautiful building.
And when you sit down with someone for the first, is there a charge for that?
I charge for cosmetic consultations, yes.
Okay. Listen, I like to listen to you for another hour. You're so easy, so I know how you must be with patients. Let me give you Dr. Berman's phone number. It's 561-71-RADIO. It's a simple number, 561-71-RADIO. It's Dr. Berman. His website, go to his website. He's got a great website. It's drberman, BERMAN.com. Let me give you the phone number one more time, 561-71-RADIO. And Dr. Berman will be back with us the last Thursday of the month in August. And if you got questions, give us a call. Thanks, Dr. Berman.
Thank you.
It's been a long day for
fun.
you.
It was a good day.
Okay. Hey, we'll see you next Thursday with more Ask the Experts.
Thanks for tuning in today to the Ask the Experts show. Tune in while some of the top local experts in their field from Broward and Palm Beach counties educate you in the areas of law, health, financial, and home improvement. You can also call our offices at 888-574-6999 to become an expert on our show. The opinions expressed on the preceding sponsored program were strictly those of its hosts, guests, and callers, and not necessarily those of this station, its staff, management.
Flash signs. Brought to you by Autism